We're now just 48 hours away from the beginning of phase 1 of reopening in North Carolina, when things are going to look different.
Yeah, more stores are going to be opening up, of course, subject to the strict social distancing guidelines. But when it comes to enforcement of all the rules, that is a bit of a gray area. Now, under phase 1, more people can be inside a business at one time. Businesses can operate at 50% capacity. That's more than the current 20%. Want to bring in our Mark Becker live tonight. One question that came up, Mark, for North Carolina officials is why more businesses like restaurants are not included in this phase 1 opening.
Yeah, it seems like that would be logical, right, that they could do that. But the fact they say, Scott, is that you go into a restaurant, you may be there for an hour or two, basically sitting still, being very stationary, close to other people. But if you go into a store, even a small store like this one, you're going to be moving around, in and out, and the stores will be limiting exactly how many people can get in. And that's why this store and many others like it will be able to open on Friday. Caroline Dowling is busy getting ready to reopen. She closed this trendy boutique in Myers Park a week before the state ordered non-essential businesses to close. And she's been hanging on ever since.
Yes, absolutely. It's a life raft just in time. Our online orders were decent, but nowhere near what we do on a daily basis with our doors open.
Of course, just because we can go shopping for things like clothes again doesn't mean we should or that we will.
I mean, I'd say I was definitely excited when I heard that they were opening up a little bit.
Perry Warnock and Abby Barefoot told us they're ready to get back into stores, but there are conditions now.
So, like, if we're still distancing and wearing masks and stuff.
I think it just depends on how good the store is about, like, cleaning everything and, like, keeping everything sanitized.
Yeah.
Caroline Dowling says the rules will definitely be different when they reopen on Saturday.
We're not going to allow any more than 5 people in the store at a time.
And today, CMPD said it will be largely up to businesses and customers to make sure people are following those rules.
We will respond to complaints as we have been the whole time, but I think as you're well aware, it gets really difficult when you try to enforce social distancing.
All right, so Mark, this has been a really big debate heading into this opening up on Friday. Social distancing. Who is going to enforce this? People will wear masks if they're supposed to. We know about the 6-foot distance. Retailers, we assume, would make an environment that creates social distancing. People have said, well, who will enforce it? Would CMPD do that? And I know that I heard officers saying today, we're not going to be going around to stores. We're not going to be making sure. So it kind of seems like society is responsible for social distancing.
Well, that's what it's going to get down to, Scott. Police said in so many words, look, we're not going to be in there with tape measures in a store like this one to keeping people apart. First of all, it's hard to know who's family and who isn't. But yes, if they're called to a place like this and they hear and they see there are too many people inside, then they'll get involved, but probably not otherwise. Scott?
All right, our Mark Becker live tonight. Mark, thank you very much. A conversation a lot of people will be having Friday, and a lot to figure out for phase 1 in North Carolina. It's not just how different businesses, of course, will adjust. Dozens of counties around the state are in a different situation, so that's why we want to bring in our government reporter, Joe Bruno, now. He spoke one-on-one with Governor Roy Cooper today, a big interview, a person who's very much in demand, so congratulations on that, Joe. And you asked how this statewide plan can work when each county is having a very different situation.
Yeah, Scott, there are just major differences in case counts. For example, Mecklenburg County leads the state with more than 1,800 people testing positive to date. Our neighbors in Avery County haven't had a single case. So I asked Governor Roy Cooper why he isn't taking a regional approach to ease restrictions, and he indicated he may do that in the future.
We're working to see if we can provide a regional approach to this. We think a statewide floor is the most important thing that we can do, and we're going to continue to work with local legislators and local government officials to come up with the right moves as we move from phase to phase.
We're going in depth with Governor Roy Cooper tonight. I asked why malls are allowed to reopen on Friday, but houses of worship are not. You'll hear his answer to that question and many more on WSOC tonight at 11. Scott.
Yeah, we know you've got a lengthy interview, and we're going to let the viewers listen to all of it and judge for themselves based on his answers. So we'll check back in with you tonight, Joe, at 11 o'clock.
Right now, we are tracking more rain across the Charlotte area. We want to show you our only live local radar in the region. We're using this to pinpoint where the rain is now and where it's headed next. Of course, this is nothing compared to the severe storms we saw just 24 hours ago. It left behind a bunch of damage in Chester County. Now, the National Weather Service confirms that this damage was caused by a tornado. Want to bring on our chief meteorologist, Steve Butelson, with what's happening now. Steve.
Yeah, Erica, rain just pulled through uptown. Skies are beginning to brighten, still pretty cloudy up by the lake. The heaviest rain has now passed just to the south and east of Charlotte, Mint Hill, toward Matthews, and then down toward Waxhaw. The 1 or 2 lone cloud to ground lightning strikes are right in the Waxhaw area, where rain rates at this point coming down pretty good. We're talking about rain rates upwards of about 3 inches an hour. That's a downpour. Would not be surprised if there were just the tiniest little hailstones in this, and it is sliding onto the east at a pretty good clip. Let me widen this out just a little bit, give you an idea as to who's going to see some of that heavier rain over the next, say, half hour or so as it continues to push on to the southeast, the better part of about 25 to 30 miles an hour on toward Richburg, which got hammered last night. Monroe about 5:08, Lancaster and Marshall about 5:30, Peachland, Wadesboro, and Pageland all before 6 o'clock. So again, our futurecast showing this is very short lasting. These showers are in and out in a hurry, but they are going to bring a change of air mass, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But I want to bring in meteorologist Jacqueline Shear, who's back where all the damage was done last night. And you just heard Erica talk about, we did have a report of a confirmed tornado down in Chester County. For more on that, let's head outside to Jacqueline.
The National Weather Service did determine that a tornado touched down here in Great Falls, South Carolina, and caused significant damage as it made its way towards Chester last night. Take a look at this. Now, they're still determining some of those peak winds throughout this event, but judging by that snap tree alone, they know that at one point winds were at least 95 miles an hour. The size and the shape of this debris field, it's also very significant because you see all of this damage here, but as I take you across the street and you're looking at just the other side of the road, there's barely anything, a few small twigs, and that's the whole story there. So that's part 2 of how we know this was a tornado. Part 3 is the pattern of the damage itself. As you're looking at this debris field, you're seeing branches and trees in all different directions. That indicates that the wind was rotating as it caused this damage, which indicates that it was a tornado. If it was a straight line wind or a microburst, we'd be seeing most of it pointing in the same direction, similar to when you spill a glass of water and you see how it spills on the floor. That's what this would look like. Now, fortunately, we don't have any injuries reported because of this tornado, which is incredible when you see shots like this, trees that came crashing down on homes like this one, and into the middle of roadways like this one. We interrupted World News last night to tell you about this storm as it approached these towns and to make sure that everyone who lived here was taking cover. We're still waiting for some of the big details of this storm to come out, like how long the path was and how strong the winds were at their strongest. The National Weather Service right now is just finishing their survey and headed back to the office to determine those details. Steve?
Thanks, Jack. So when I think back to last night and when we were analyzing that storm, Tony and I were looking at winds roughly to about 90 miles per hour. So that's not a surprise that there was a confirmed tornado. And that same storm actually had a fatality with a lightning strike near Chester. Meanwhile, we've cooled down behind the rain. I'll show you why that's just the beginning when I come back in a bit.
Thank you, Steve. And in just the past 45 minutes tonight, South Carolina's governor said that there will be expanded testing at nursing homes. We brought you that live here on Channel 9. 851 people at long-term care facilities have now gotten sick, and 84 of them have passed away. State health officials say they're getting enough swabs and testing supplies to test 110,000 people every month. That's 2% of the state population. And they're going to focus on testing at nursing homes, their residents, and the workers there, and expanding testing in minority and rural communities that they believe have been underserved. Also, mass testing in cities and urban areas, and finding more testing locations.
We do not believe that we are going to run out of testing materials. We also don't think that we're going to run out of personal protective equipment.
The state's planning mobile testing sites and pop-up testing in different cities. They did do a trial run, said it worked well. State health leaders say they haven't been able to reach their testing capacity yet because of a lack of reagents for those tests.
Well, with hundreds of deaths in North Carolina in nursing homes and staff members getting sick as well, the state is putting out a call now for any available nurses to step up to help. 269 people have died of COVID-19 in nursing homes and long-term care facilities in North Carolina. More than 2,300 people have tested positive, and many of them are employees. State health officials and East Carolina University looking for nurses and nursing assistants who need some extra hours or looking for those who've been laid off elsewhere. All you have to do is sign up online and include your preference of where you want to work. And then someone will reach out to you about availability in your area. We put a link to that sign up on our free WSOC TV News app. It's in the latest links section.
Of course, there is a need for nurses in those hot spots in the Carolinas, around the country. It's an all-hands-on-deck pandemic, and today, of course, is National Nurses Day, a day to pause and just say thank you to the workers, those nurses, for everything that they do. Think about their concerns as they had to work every day. Channel 9's Damani Lewis is introducing us now to a nurse from Charlotte, putting her retirement on hold and continuing to save lives.
Nurses, of course, give so much of their time and energy to help us every single day, but today, I met one Novant Health nurse who works in the intensive care nursery at Presbyterian Hospital who decided to forego her retirement to help out during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nurse manager Lynn Huffsettler started working in the NICU back in 1989. She says over the years, her coworkers became like family. And when your family needs you, you do all you can for them. She was scheduled to retire in April of this year and move to the beach, but decided to stop all of it to be there for her team.
I felt like it just wasn't the right time to turn and walk away. And not knowing exactly what it was going to look like for our city and our surrounding communities, I just didn't think it was the right time.
Another selfless act by a nurse. Lynn says she will retire once the pandemic settles down. Right now, no new timetable has been set on when she will hang it up and move to her Ocean Isle Beach home. But we thank her and all of the nurses for what you do. Back to you.
Yeah, she deserves that retirement. And all of us here at Channel 9, of course, sending a huge thank you to the brave nurses risking their lives to treat others at this time. The work you're doing is appreciated and not going unnoticed.